maybe not the best optics for Cam Skattebo, who's injured, and Abdul Carter, who is, being dragged yesterday for all the stuff that we talked about with sleeping through the meetings or the walkthrough. Maybe not the best optics for the Giants last night.
Was Abdul awake? I'm just checking. And by the way, why not just have Cam go off the top rope, do a little Macho Man, maybe do a little Hogan leg drop or a little Bundy splash? Now, listen. So, I don't want to be the buzz killer around here. That's dumb. Cam Skattebo.
Having Cam involved in
the Abdul Carter stuff is different. Like, he made a mistake, and we hit that, and that's a bigger picture in terms of Giants culture, and we've talked about that. We will continue to talk about that. And I know we deleted some tweets. I don't think it was a good look. I'm not a fan of the way he's starting his Giants career. The Cam Skattebo, but you're a grown man. You can go out to Monday Night Raw. So that doesn't really bother me that he was out there at all.
He's been everywhere. He was at UFC. It seems Cam has been everywhere. And for those of you who don't know what the hell we're talking about, Cam Skattebo and some Giants, including Abdul Carter, were at Monday Night Raw last night in the first row, and they had a little scripted altercation in which you saw Skattebo get in one of the wrestlers' faces and then got pushed back.
Yes, he did. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. Listen, and it was obviously scripted, as you said. And, I'm saying, wow, yeah, right. Is it real, Dad? I was my grandmother to the day that she passed away. May God rest her soul. She really, truly thought wrestling was real. Either way, I thought that there was a chance that and I didn't know Carter was going to go, but once I heard that Cam Skattebo was going to be in attendance, I thought there was a chance that they'd write him into the script. I thought it would be a little bit more physically innocuous. And again, I'm not here to be the buzzkill or holier than thou or the headmaster or the dean of discipline. But, dude, use common sense. The last time we saw Cam Skattebo in a New York Giants uniform, his ankle was pointed in the absolute wrong direction. It was hanging by a thread. Okay, so obviously his season is over. I hope that he's able to regain his career. Most doctors think that he will. I'll trust them. But that was a heinous, grotesque, very problematic injury. And, it's not so much that he was sitting ringside or that there was a little push or that there was scripted stuff. It's there are certain things that you still can't script. Say it the Force, and maybe I'm overthinking this too much. All right, but the Force, I don't even know who pushed him back.
I forget. Hoff, maybe you could check that out.
He's on the phone. Whoever it was, I guess it's fairly insignificant. But his shove was fairly hard.
Mysterio. It was Dom Mysterio who pushed.
It was Dom
who pushed him. Yeah, that's right.
So when Cam pushed Dom, it had some force behind it.
He gave him a good shove.
It gave him a good shove. Now, Dom, of course, handed up, and he went flipping and flying backwards somersault to the ring. And then he came back, and he shoved Skattebo. So all those things are written within the script. But here's a question. What happens if there's a little beer or a little water or a little seltzer on the garden floor, and he slips? And he loses control. I am, again, I'm not mad. I'm not trying to ruin the young man's life. Have fun, man. You're young. Go for it. But there's certain things you can't control. It's not a hamstring. Your ankle was hanging off. I don't think that was smart last night at all. I'm sorry.
Okay, before I dive into my thoughts on this specific incident, remember with Malik Neighbors, was that last year? When
that was the concert.
Right.
After the concussion.
After he was concussed.
Yes.
Showing up at a concert. And I was like, I don't know. I get you got to live your life, but when you get hurt like that and you're out and you can't perform for your team in season, is it the best thing to do to be all over social media and all up in the videos and the concerts and all this stuff? So I optically, it just doesn't add up to me. But then I have to say, okay, well, they're young kids. You're not going to prevent them from living their life. It's just a hard time. Hey, if you can't play football and do your job with a concussion, why are you at a concert? And now with Skattebo, seeing him at UFC, okay, that was one thing. Oh, hey, there's Cam Skattebo. Seen him wheel around and he had that last night. We saw him backstage. Hoff's son got a picture with him, so we saw Skattebo, and he was there wheeling around on his cart. But I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't shocked that he got pushed. Him pushing, fair enough. Him pushing, whatever.
I don't even love that.
Fair enough, because it's your physical. You're involved in a physical. While it is, even if it is scripted, you're right. It's physical nature. Anything can happen. God forbid he got hurt again doing that. Now, it's not the first time we saw this. We saw Halliburton do something.
Against Brunson?
I don't remember. Yeah, right. I don't remember the Brunson, but Halliburton, I think, showed up at one of the events right after tearing his Achilles.
I remember. Is that timing definitely true?
I'm not 100%
I remember
sure.
that the Brunson, the Brunson,
but that was different.
Was before he hurt his Achilles, so he went back after he hurt his Achilles.
But he showed up.
Okay,
but I don't think there was anything physical.
Oh, that's the point. This guy's written into the script.
Right. It's one thing if you're there. It's another thing to say, hey, do you mind if we get involved in a little scrum?
Let me ask you a question. So, again, Cam Skattebo he's almost like a cult superhero figure. And like if he didn't get hurt and it wasn't so gruesome, he projected this impenetrable force, like he was beyond destruction. Correct. Even though, of course, we know he's not. He's a human being.
I think he believes.
Yes, which we all love and we all respect. So maybe it's a little different. Middle round running back. He's going to be. What if that was Jackson Dart? What if Jackson Dart, God forbid, had that kind of an ankle injury and Jackson Dart, a month after that surgery, is being shoved ringside at the Garden?
Well, Jackson Dart, I'm sure he could have gone. And by the way, he might be on track to play this week. The last that I was reading, maybe it's sounding good.
Yeah, I think he's going to play.
Into that. Okay, so that means he's getting healthier, right? Well, who's his best butt on the team? Isn't it Skattebo?
Boy Cam.
So why wasn't Dart? Why didn't he feel the need to go there and be front row last night?
I would like to think that Mr. Dart is in the playbook at the facility till midnight doing what young quarterbacks do.
Now, a little bit different because Skattebo out for
100%.
Okay, but Abdul Carter's not. So current players who are playing this week, I mean, I think Carter's going to be playing. Who knows if he's suspended or what, for what other walkthrough he may miss. But other players, like Dart could have gone last night and could have showed up. But he, for whatever reason, I guess, chose not to. And Skattebo could have gone and just not chose to get physical. I don't think it's a huge deal. But when you think about the optics of it, where the Giants are at, I don't even, like, they're walking around with the championship belt. You're 2-0.
Championship belt? You're one of the second worst teams in football.
They had the Giants championship belt.
I did.
They're 2-9.
How dusty is that thing?
It's just not. Optics.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, exactly. Optics do matter in today's world.
Yeah.
It's a bad look. Then on top of that, it's a unnecessary risk that you would take by getting involved in even the smallest of physical storylines.
Culture is a very broad term, and we try to get a sense of like when culture is shifting, whether it was Tom Thibodeau early with the Knicks or what Aaron Glenn tried to do with the Jets here in year one. Does anybody think the Giants' culture is good? Now, again, last night is just a little teeny tiny thing, but and again, I used the word optics yesterday. Yeah. You just used it. I try to stay away from that word because it's almost sometimes it's lazy, although it's certainly applicable here. I'm not saying you saying it's lazy, nor how I used it yesterday. I did think it fit, but it's just so broad. Culture, this or that, whatever, or optics. It does matter. I mean, you got number 3 overall picks sleeping at the facility. Your team stinks. You've given up 4 fourth-quarter leads that you've blown. The head coach got whacked. For some reason, the defensive coordinator should have been whacked. He's still here. For some reason, the GM, who hopefully is going to get whacked, is still here. And you got a guy on a scooter whose ankle was surgically repaired. It's probably got 9 screws in it, hanging up by a thread, getting pushed by Rey Mysterio. Come on, man.
Oh, Dom Mysterio.
I mean, Dom Mysterio.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio was there.
Won. Didn't he win?
That's right. Cena. All right, BT and Sal, the fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire. It actually is sad how far the Giants have fallen. To your point, it's not just about last night. It just doesn't seem to end with this team. Even when they try to do something fun, because of their record and what's gone on the last several years, it's just hard to believe how far the Giants have fallen. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Peter in North Jersey starts us off. What's up, Peter?
Hey, Pete.
Hey, guys, what's going on? You can't pop what you're saying right now. I mean, I understand you're trying to come, with a certain angle on this, but there's no way you two actually believe that optically this thing is bad. And you even just admitted yourself that the word gets overused. This was a fun thing. You got shocked because of the simple fact that that's what the WWE lives and dies by, shocking people with people who show up and do this.
Yeah, but just, I get that, Pete. You have kids, yes or no? You have kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. I don't know how old they are, but mine are 9 and 10. And even now, a little bit like they're messing around, they're playing, and they're having fun. I'm like, guys, it's going to go from fun to bad very quick if you hit your head on the corner of the table or you try to carry your sister with one arm and you slip. And I get it. I'm all about having fun. I'm not against I'm not the fun police.
That is such a stretch. That is such a stretch.
But hold on. Pete, Pete. That's the WWE script. That doesn't mean that the Giants have to adhere to it.
Yeah, but the NFL's adhering to it. You watch all these games. You can't tell me that there's not a chance that they're trying as hard as they can to get some level of that same excitement.
Hold on, Pete. You're conflating.
Pete, what are you talking about?
You're conflating multiple items. I appreciate the call, and you don't agree, and that's fine. We respect that. But you just completely hijacked, and what you said makes no sense. Because we're not talking about the officiating or the level of effort on Sundays or Monday nights from the NFL players or the bad refereeing or the officiating. We're talking about a guy who's still in a scooter, and again, whose ankle had to be surgically reconnected, getting pushed by somebody who's about 250 pounds, and number one, it's not a good look, but more importantly, could have gotten hurt.
Correct. I mean, simplify it. I'm saying I don't think it's a big deal. I'm not going to go nuts. Maybe BT feels more strong about it, but you have to go based off of the facts. A, not a good look for either Abdul Carter or Cam Skattebo to be there involved. Carter shouldn't have been there, period. And Skattebo shouldn't have been involved in any physical script. Here's the other fact. Okay, wrestling is scripted, right? We know that. Like, the storylines are scripted. Do wrestlers ever get hurt?
Hey, think about when Jake the Snake Roberts got smacked with the guitar by the honky tonk man. They thought it was gimmick. They basically broke his neck. He had a concussion for like 5 months.
Wrestlers get hurt all the time. Now, obviously, it wasn't like Skattebo was in the ring doing backflips off the top rope. However, he got pushed pretty good.
Yeah, that's WrestleMania, by the way, when he's jumping off the top rope.
Yeah, okay,
they're going to write him into the script
might,
more.
Maybe. I'm just saying, let's not pretend like he couldn't on a bad leg that is in a boot, so much so that he's got to have a scooter to get around. He got shoved really good. It wasn't, thankfully. It could have been bad. There's no need to put yourself in that spot. Mm-hmm. That's the point. Why do that? Why even put yourself in a predicament like that? Have somebody else. Have Abdul Carter get pushed. What, was he afraid of the contact? Maybe. I mean,
he'll get near Mysterio, and then he'll breathe on him, and he won't be able to push him.
They went with Cam Skattebo in the storyline because he's the badass tough guy.
Yeah.
Well, big bad Abdul Carter, number 3 pick, who's actually healthy. They didn't want anybody breathing on a wrestler or sniffing them. That's what Abdul Carter does best. He breathes and sniffs quarterbacks instead of sacking them. So they wanted somebody who could actually get physical, so they go to Cam Skattebo. But it's just optically not good. Doesn't mean the Giants. Look, you guys can paint it any rosy way that you want. The Giants have been, and this is putting it kindly, an embarrassment of an organization for years. Yeah. And it just continues to be bad for a variety of reasons.
I also think that both young men, and they are young men, young men, I think they got bad advice. You know, if I'm Abdul Carter's reps, I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out and say, listen, Abdul, let's probably lay out tonight. It's been a rough day. You know, not that we're not going to get past this. We'll figure a way around it, and, you know, we'll be fine with the Giants, and the Giants will eventually be fine with us. But probably not the best thing to show up there tonight at Monday Night Raw at the Guard. That's number one.
He showed up on time. He was early for that.
Yeah, he was ready to roll. And then Cam's reps should have probably been like, all right, listen, Cam, if you're going to go there, listen, you can't practice. You don't have any use to the Giants now. Just don't get physically touched, nor should you push anybody.
I mean, think
about the force. Now, I know that people here, no, it's not. I know people hear this are like, oh, God. And I'm a little bit more, I'm not going nuts, but I'm even a little bit more than you. Mm-hmm. Some people are hearing this saying, oh, what an overreaction. Guys, think about, it wasn't like a love tap, right? Or it wasn't like they were just yelling at each other's face. When you shove somebody, the energy that you, like, if you really do it, which Cam Skattebo did, like there's, especially when you haven't done much in the last month, there's an element of physical unpredictability that your ankle has not had since before it got hurt. It's just an unnecessary risk.
By the way, I don't even have a problem with Cam shoving Mysterio. I have the issue with the shove back because if you go back and watch it, and again, I was there, I saw it. They were sitting right across from us. It turned into a scrum. Like Cam got pushed back to a point where I don't think he was expecting that type of shove, and then who knows what could happen behind you. There's just no need for it.
Can't control it at that point.
Look, the bigger deal is that the Giants suck. That's the bigger deal. The bigger deal is Joe Shane. The bigger deal is who's going to be the next head coach. We all understand those are the bigger issues. But on top of all that, with your star running back who can't play because he has a significant injury, he's out for the year, do you need to see him scrumming it up with one of the wrestlers on Monday Night Raw?
Of course not.
Rich is in Tom's River. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Rich.
Hey, guys. Thank you for taking my call. You guys hit everything I'm saying. I agree with you guys 100%. I have two things to say real quick. Mm-hmm. Number one is obviously, they're terrible and it's a terrible look. But I got a question for you guys: who signs off on this? Like Mara, Shame?
No,
who signs off on
I don't think either one of them are involved. I think it's their representation for Cam and Abdul Carter. I think it's totally independent of the Giants. Totally. And it should be. They're grown men. But you have to have better judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one more question, guys, and I know Sal kind of said this. Like, let's say they were 8-2 or 7-3 or whatever in a playoff run. He's having a great year. He went out there last night, got shoved, and broke his ankle. Could you imagine what you guys would have started with today? It's just crazy. And this team is sucking my soul, Brandon, sucking my soul. And my 7-year-old, like, I don't know what to do. But the Yankees we'll talk about in the spring, but, like, they're sucking everything I have left out of me.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Yankees later, actually, because it's a big day with Trent Grisham. Decision day. It's 4 p.m.
Come on. Don't sign that, Trent.
A lot of hot stuff we'll get into. Look, the Giants did have that years ago with Plaxico Burress spending a night out shooting himself.
Yep.
Literally shooting himself and torpedoing the Giants' postseason hopes in the process. So it has happened before. And even that I would advise, well, you want players to go have fun in the nightlife and all that, but I mean, there are certain things you just shouldn't be doing. There's common sense. And I don't, like, this is not going to a club with a gun in your pants, certainly. But it just, when you're hurt, do you think it's a good idea to get involved in any kind of physical nature to a point where you're legitimately getting shoved? You could say it's scripted and fake. That was a real shove. Yeah. And when you get shoved and you get off balance, you don't know what could happen from there when you're dealing with a busted up ankle.
Yeah, and the last time Cam Skattebo had any real balance was before he got hurt. And, in that moment of, falling backwards a little bit, he's asking, and again, I know that this sounds a little bit too literal or too much for some. That's fine. I stand by it. In that moment when he's falling backwards, you're asking your body to do something it hasn't done in a while. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and protect you on one foot. Either way, let's get one more.
These Giants.
Nick is in Tom's River. What's up, Nick?
Hey, good morning, fellas. Thank you for taking my call.
Okay.
We could talk about... how bad the Giants are, the 2-9, and the optics of all this. But I got to be honest with you. If I'm John Mara this morning, before I'm going to get my health taken care of, I got both those guys in my office and being like, "What is wrong with you? We're 2-9. You almost had a decapitated ankle, and you, who I'm paying for half a sack, who wanted LT's number." You're embarrassing not only the organization, myself. If you guys have any inclination of playing on our team longer, cut it. Stop it.
Not a good look.
Tell you, the Giants have sucked more than my soul. I got to tell you that.
Man, that is a theme.
Wow. And thank you for the call, Nick. That was a pretty good call. And there's been a lot of callers using the term sucking lately.
And soul.
Sucking wind, sucking the soul.
That's true.
All that stuff. And those are things obviously we could say on the air. Yeah, and it all adds up to a point where why we say bad optics is you think the Giant fans, we were sitting next to some people, big sports, like, oh man, this is a huge deal. Can't believe this. People already going nuts online. You think Giant fans who have had it up to here with this team for however many years, especially this year, and all the disappointment and embarrassment and the 2-9 record, you think they want to sit there and watch John Cena's last Monday Night Raw at the Garden and see their guys? First of all, nobody wants to see Abdul Carter, period, yesterday after all that went on. You don't want to see his face. That's how disgusted you are with his performance and his antics. And then see Skattebo getting shoved. That's why optics does pertain in this particular case.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't even want to see Aaron Judge when the Yankees get booted from the playoffs at the Garden.
Good point.
I don't want to see it.
The Ranger game or Nick game?
I think that was a Nick game, so I wouldn't have been watching the Rangers. It was obviously the Knicks. I mean, not that you should ever be booed in that situation. I would never do that, but
at least Booney he hid. He hid from this season result. He went to another country. You got Judge there showing up for front row at the Garden.
Booney came to the St. John's game last year. He's probably saying that's gonna be a little softer landing here. It's not the Knicks, but he got a decent reception. That was after they lost in the World Series. But again, I am of the mindset, you do what you want within the realm of being responsible and not putting your team at a worse spot. From either a PR or an optical perspective. And I just think they wildly swung and missed last night. I'm so surprised that Abdul Carter didn't get better advice. Like, it just shows me a lack of awareness.
But they are young kids.
No, I know. That's why I'm not trying to crush them, man. Some of the things I did at their age, my God, that would have been like going to church what they did last night.
Yeah,
Some of the things I did. I get it. I understand. But even if Carter's reps didn't go, kind of weigh in, he probably should have had that checkpoint within himself. Like, it's been a rough couple days here. Let me just lay out. He chose not to. I'm not trying to crush them. I'm just saying it's a bad look. And if I'm the Giants' bigger picture, it really does speak to their sloppiness and the circus that the Giants have become.
BT and Sal on the Fan Warrior calls when we come back. We'll get into the baseball stuff as well a little bit later on.